Recently, an open collaboration was set out by Jess at Roots and Refuge. Her concept was, with so many people using AI to create new books and flooding the market, we don't know if this information is legitimate and vetted and really sourced out and tested and true information in the new books that are being published these days. We've only been homesteading for 2 years, but I was doing reading of all of this stuff long before we came to the property that we're on today. Let's start off with some titles that Dan had brought with him before we came to the homestead. I'm not going to go over every title on the shelf, but I'm going to show you some of the topics and then pick one out of the topics. So this is all renovations and handyman work and all of that. And this book here on the end, it's a Reader's Digest. We had this book in the house when I was a child, and that's, I'm 55, so that was a long time ago. This book was originally put out over 45 years ago. Complete do-it-yourself manual. Reader's Digest has a history of compiling a lot of information. They were harvesting information before the internet, long before the internet, and that's basically what this is. It may not be written by one person, but it's harvested information that's compiled to make a reliable source. This book will go over some electrical, some framing, some plumbing, some all kinds of handyman things that are good to know when you're getting into a property, especially if you're getting into an older property. There's information about fuses even, and we use breakers more now, but there are things you may encounter in an older property. This section of the bookshelf is about homesteading. One of the books that I've seen referenced by other homesteaders, and one I've had for several years myself, is The Backyard Homesteader. This is a Storey publisher, and I was able to use this before we came to the homestead. I have leafed through it several times. I've got some bookmarks in here on butchering and what's this one? And growing in less space, because square foot gardening was what I was doing before I came to this property. There are bits on gardening, there are bits on growing with herbs, herbal teas, miniature goats, milking your goats, cattle for milk and meat, and all kinds of things. One of the things that is popular about this book is that it shows you how to plot out your property so that you can make the best use of your space. So there are a lot of homesteading books out there. Look for titles that are older than 2023. This one is actually from 2009. So the information is trusted back that far, and people are still recommending it today. This next section is about gardening. When a book has come to the second edition, or in this case, the 10th anniversary edition, you know that the book has got some reliability and some history behind it. I love this book, Square Foot Gardening. He shows you all kinds of different plants and trellising and growing and harvesting. Oh, and there's that image there. There's lots of good pictures, but they show you some ideas on square foot gardening and how to actually garden in compact spaces. Intensive gardening rather than broad, straight, even rows. They're intense little squares. And I like that for that. Now, this one here is a book. I haven't had this one long, but it did come with great references, and several people referred to it. It's by Bill Mollison. It's Introduction to Permaculture. Now, they talk about planning your land so that you can make the most use of it, and different details for how one thing connects to another. Your chickens connect to your compost, connects to the garden, connects to you, connects back to the garden, connects back to the chickens, and how it's all interwoven. This one I need to read through more, but the concepts are proven and people love this book, so I have to work on this one. This next section is just a couple of my cookbooks. Of course, I've got a full library of cookbooks. The one that gets referred to quite often is the Ball or in this case Bernardin, Complete Book of Home Preserving. This is the Canadian version of the Ball, and it is 100% page for page, word for word, the same book as the Ball. This is Canadian versus American. I have bookmarks stuck in all over the place on this because this is my go-to book for preserving. And funny enough, this little book that came with the pressure canner, it's loaded with recipes too. Not just how to use your pressure canner safely, but some ideas on how to actually preserve some of those foods. This next section, from here to here, is all about herbalism and medication and herbal medicines within, you know, that you can grow your own and all of that. Out of these, I can't pick one. I've been using this one since my kids were small. The Visual Encyclopedia of Natural Healing. I've been flipping through that for years, picking out different things as issues came up. This one here I've been using since my kids were small too. The Herbal for Mother and Child. It's got different supports for breastfeeding and wounds and stings and headaches and tummy discomforts and all kinds of different ideas. I don't reference it much anymore because I no longer have little ones at home, but that is a book that's going to stay on my shelf for the rest of my life. One that I see referenced quite often is Rosemary Gladstar's Medicinal Herbs, A Beginner's Guide. I've seen this referred to by Mary on Mary's Nest, and I've seen this referred to in Kaylee on the Homestead, and I've seen this referred to by several others. It's got all kinds of great pictures, lots of bright colors, and it goes over herbs and tinctures and infused oils and drying herbs and all kinds of things. There are some pretty great recipes in there. Knowing how to use the herbs that you can grow yourself helps you to rely on the medical system less. There are lots of remedies and ideas in here to help you deal with a tummy upset or headaches or different things, sleepless nights. It's not to replace the medical system, it's to supplement the medical system. This last section of books I've referenced before as well. Some of them are from the 1970s or older. The one I trust the most is Edible Wild Plants, a North American field guide to over 200 natural foods. It's loaded with pictures so that when you're out foraging, you can have a good clear image of what you're looking for. It has how to use the different herbs, whether it's for cooking or eating fresh greens or for drying, making into flour, pickling, all kinds of ideas. Going forward, I will be watching the reliability of the author, and I will be watching for checking references from other people who have been through the homesteading lifestyle. With all the online shopping these days, it's really worth it to look at the reviews that people have written, and don't just read the first 3 or 4 pages, and don't just read the 5-star reviews. Go in and read the 3-star reviews and the 2 or 1-star reviews. Find out if people are saying this book seems very legitimate or well-founded and well-experienced authors, and find out if the people are reading it and saying this is confusing, there are missing chunks of information, and just watch the legitimacy of new titles coming out. If you can find a 5th edition, a 5th anniversary edition, or in this case, like I said, the 10th anniversary edition of something, or the 2nd printing of something, you'll know those are books that have been trusted. If something's on the bestsellers list, you're going to have a more reliable resource as well. And with Jess making this open collaboration and the playlist on her YouTube channel, Roots and Refuge, you're going to have a well-considered reading list and great references in all of those books. And if 10 people out of that playlist have referenced the same book, you'll know it's a book that you can go and rely on. Thanks for stopping by today and sharing my bookshelf with me. I'll see you next time, guys.